चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जोर से बोलिए हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। एक बार और हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम
Hare Krishna to everyone. Hare devotees of Kannamangala. It's really an honor to come here and take association of the devotees here in Kannamangala. And it was a long time before we met Arjuna Achyuta Arjuna Sakha Das Prabhu. And we met at a program in Balandur. And we had the opportunity to listen to Gaur Katha from him. So he invited us to come to Kannamangala Center. And he said, can you speak on Gaur Katha? I said, Prabhu, you are such a scholarly person. I would rather speak on some other topic. So he said, you are embarrassing me by saying this. So I thought to myself, it's better that he is embarrassed than me being embarrassed in public. So it's really a honor that we've got association of devotees like His Grace Achyut Arjun Sakha Prabhu. And so anyway, it's a real honor that I got this invitation to come and associate with all of you. So we decided mutually and agreed that we will speak on the importance of festivals with specific reference to the Janmashtami, which is just coming up. So what should be our consciousness when we have festivals of this nature, and festivals, how it is actually a great mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So before we try and speak, let us sing Jai Radha Madhava so that the consciousness is corrected for myself, and then we'll try and speak. Okay? Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Channa Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari 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 Jaya Gopi Channa Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajanarangana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajanarangana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Jaya Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Jaya Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Madan Mohan Radha, Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda 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 Radha, Jaya Radha, Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radha, Jaya Radha, Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radha, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाए, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जाए, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय, इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय. So, as we know, we have been reading Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna in the first 6 chapters, even though it is categorized as Karma Yoga section, he discusses Sankhya Yoga in the chapter number 2, and then he also discusses Karma Yoga, which is the essential content of the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And then he, in the 6th chapter, discusses about Dhyana Yoga. And at the end of the discussions on Dhyana Yoga, in the last verse of the 6th chapter, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gathena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. So, he's a very democratic person, Sri Krishna. He says, Yoginam api sarvesham, of all the yogis, mat gathena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam. The person who with Shraddha does a bhajan and kirtan of my name, same yuktatamo mataha. He is the topmost yogi. And that is my opinion, he says. So he sets the trend for discussions on Bhakti Yoga from chapter number 7. And since the Bhagavad Gita has been translated and purports given by Srila Prabhupada, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, you will find with the study of Bhagavad Gita that the conclusion of almost every chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti is the topmost process. Even though we categorize chapter number 1 to 6 as sections of Karma Yoga, and chapter number 13 to chapter number 18 as the Jnana Yoga section, and the middle portion is the Bhakti portion, which is the chapter number 7 to chapter number 12. And the fusion between karma and jnana is the process of bhakti actually. And the conclusion of almost every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is that you have to follow bhakti. So, and Prabhupada so kindly, he is the person who actually started this culture of festivals in the entire world. And what was the difference between what Prabhupada did and the tradition of festivals in India and all over the world? What does festivals mean for most of the people? We all wear nice dresses, we have nice food, we meet friends and relatives, and probably we do some rituals and some yajnas and sacrifices. So that is our understanding of what festivals used to be. Like, for example, we spoke some days back about the Govardhan Leela of the Lord. So the Govardhan Leela, before it really manifest, what was the content of that festival? It was, if we may call it, a traditional Hindu festival. Yeah. So people used to come and perform yajna with all reverence and respect to satisfy, Indra Bhagwan. And then they used to please him, and through pleasing the Devata, the head of the Devatas, Indra, naturally Indra used to be satisfied, and we used to have rains. And rains are very, very important, especially for the Vaishya community. The Vaishya community engages in farming, Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijya. Yeah. So the Krishi department was taken care of by Balram. Goraksha was taken care of by Sri Krishna, who used to be the head Gorakshak there. And then the Vanijya department, whoever said that, women's lib did not exist in those days, the gopis of Vrindavan were the women entrepreneurs in society. Yeah, they used to sell curd, and they used to sell milk, and they used to trade in jewels and so many other things. So there was a normal festive spirit, but the whole festive spirit, the religious aspect was put aside by Krishna when he requested his father, forget about this, all those wonderful offerings that you have made for Indra, turn it around and give it to Govardhan Hill. Yeah. So, and he even presented a kind of atheistic philosophy to his father. What was that? Karma Mimamsa philosophy, where he presented to his father that what is all this? It's all based on karma. If you have to thank anyone, it just happens as per karma. If you really want to thank someone, please thank the Govardhan Hill, which supplies all the necessities for the human society. So turn the whole thing around and offer all these things to the Govardhan Hill. So that was the recommendation of Krishna. And we should understand the sentiment and the emotion that the people in Brajabhumi carry. They would do anything for pleasure of the Lord. Who is the, queen of all mothers in this universe? Yashoda Maya. Yeah. If you really see, it is mentioned by His Holiness Shivram Swami Maharaj in his book that if in the entire material world, mother's love is something which is unmatched, right? So if you actually add up all the love that the mothers of the universe have, that love is considered to be a mustard seed of love which Mother Yashoda had for Sri Krishna. So that is the emotion of love which Mother Yashoda carried. And she used to love Krishna so much, and so are all the residents of Vrindavan. They would do anything for the pleasure of the Lord. So naturally, Nanda Baba was forced to agree, even though he was fearing the wrath of Indra Bhagwan. And as expected, it happened. Indra Bhagwan sent the Samvartaka clouds, and it was pouring rain. It was not actually rainfall, it was bricks of ice water which the Samvartaka clouds was pouring on the land of Vrindavan. So what happened next is that Krishna ran from his house to the Govardhan Hill, and by his super mystic potency, yeah, he is Yogeshwara. Where he was running in that track, there was no rainfall at all. And then even a little feather on his head was not changed. And then he lifted the Govardhan Hill. What happened next? So we are seeing the turn of events from a normal Hindu traditional religious activity to a transcendentally blissful activity. That is what all festivals are meant for. So he lifted the Govardhan hill and invited the whole of Vrindavan to come. And the whole traditional event became into a big, big festival in Brajadam. So that is what Krishna does by turning it from a mundane religious activity to a transcendental spiritual activity. What happened inside the Govardhan hill? Krishna is such a beautiful, sort of, he's the most stylish person. He's like the style icon and the greatest of interior designers. Meenu Mataji actually comes as a descendant of that quality of the interior decor. So he lifted the hill, and what happens when he lifts the hill? The bottom of the hill, there will be rubble, there will be stones, there will be mud, everything, right? By his mystic potency, the underneath of the hill was actually landscaped by Sri Krishna, and the whole thing was completely a green garden on the roof. So it was a rooftop garden. Yeah, so that is how Krishna is. He's like the style icon. So you can just imagine that scene and meditate in your heart what has happened just now in Vrindavan Dham when Krishna has lifted the Govardhan hill and there is a rooftop garden. You can see Krishna in a beautiful garden on top of his head. So the entire Vrindavan Dham gathered there and they were having 24/7 darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was the beauty and that is the perfection of life, isn't it? We say in the yoga system, there are the eightfold yoga systems, right? Yama and Niyama, you have to follow certain rules and regulations. And once you follow those rules and regulations, then you have to sit in a particular posture, which is called asana. And then once you're seated in the asana, I fail in the asana stage itself. See, even to sit like this for a long time, I need some support. Yeah, because I'm a descendant of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu always liked soft beds. So after sitting in a proper asana, then you do pranayama, breathing exercises. Till now, it is physical. Yeah, it's just the physical requirements for performing yoga. And then you have to do pratyahara or pushing out all the material desires physically from your heart. Once you have done that, then after pratyahara, then you have to do dharana, which is intense concentration on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then dhyana, yeah, and then meditation, and then in that process of meditation, you come to a stage of samadhi, which is the total absorption in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So here, Bhakti always, Prabhupada used to say, that is a direct process. Yeah, it is not dependent on karma, it is not dependent on jnana, it is not dependent on dhyana. It's a direct process where everybody in Vrindavan was in a state of samadhi and they had only one complaint. They had a complaint with Brahma that Brahmaji, you have given us eyes that blink. That is our biggest complaint as far as we are concerned, because in that split second when our eyes blink, we are losing the darshan of the Lord. Can you see the emotion of the people in Vrindavan? When are we going to come to that stage where we carry this kind of emotion? So they were in a complete stage of samadhi and perfection, and that is what Krishna does in any festival. Festival means everybody gathers and everybody comes and greets each other. And what do? Not just the mundane activities of meeting friends and relatives, having nice food, wearing nice clothing. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to please the Supreme Personality of God, Shri Krishna. So that is really the purpose of the festival, where the mundane festival, which was being planned in Sri Vrajadam, was converted into a transcendentally blissful spiritual festival. So, what happens typically in any festival, the live festival we will have at the end of this lifetime when we go back home, back to Godhead, is that we witness the Leelas of the Lord and enjoy a state of spiritual perfection. And we hear about the different Leelas of the Lord. That is the only activity that people have in Vrindavan. And as an ideal situation, my mind goes back to the Hungary devotees, the devotees in Hungary, which is my favorite spiritual retreat center. And we used to go there a couple of times a year. Before that, of course, COVID stopped all that. Hopefully that will be reinstated. And in Hungary, the devotees are leading a real village life centered around Krishna. In village, you always have this Gramya Katha, right? Gossip in the village. So even the gossip there is centered around Sri Krishna and Radhesham. We have taken a small gift for Radhesham. It's actually very, very insignificant, a necklace for Radhesham. And we just gave it in the hands of His Holiness Shivram Swami Maharaj. And within 15 minutes, the entire village there came to know that Yugal, Kishore and Kishori have given a gift to Srimati Radharani. Everybody was coming and saying, "Thank you very much, Prabhu. You have given such a wonderful gift to Radharani. And we are going to, decorate Srimati Radharani with the gift that you have given." So that is the Gramya Katha which goes on in Hungary, which should be, we should be doing same way in this beautiful Kanamangala village, where you have, by the mercy of Sri Krishna and the devotees like Achyuta Arjun Saka, a wonderful center here to facilitate our devotional service. So then we have this. So what is the purpose of the discussions on the Leelas of the Lord and hearing about the Leelas of the Lord? First of all, it's a source of inspiration to all of us as sadhakas. Yeah, many of us are sadhakas. Certainly me, I'm trying to be a sadhaka. So it's a source of inspiration to all of us. So we recharge our spiritual batteries whenever there is a festival like this. And then for the pure devotees, it's a source of bliss for them. Like we saw what happened to the devotees in Govardhan. Yeah. So, and then for even those who are not pure devotees, it arouses their interest in Krishna consciousness by making them a little, inquisitive. So even the intellectuals and the non-practitioners or non-sadhakas get interested in the process of spiritual life. So what does Krishna say in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? So Krishna talks about, service to the Supreme Lord, which needs to be ahaituki and apratiyata in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, if you have to do ahaituki apratiyata service to the Lord, how is it possible without knowing to whom you're giving this service? So it became essential for Krishna to give transcendental knowledge about himself to the devotees. So that's what he says in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where in the 7th verse, he explains when he comes down to the earth planet. He says, 4th chapter, sloka number 7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharataha abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. So he gives information on when he comes down to the earth planet. What is that? Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice. Yeah. O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise in irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So we have all heard this sloka. The important word in this is that we should understand Krishna is Srijami. You know, he's not born like you and me. We are a mess when we are born, isn't it? But Krishna was born in all splendor, right? He was born with his complete four-handed form. He manifested himself on the earth planet, and at the request of Vasudeva and Devaki, he then came down to a baby form. So that was the when he came down to the earth planet. Whenever there is a decline of religion, an increase in irreligion. Yeah. And then what does Krishna do when he comes down to the earth planet? He does three things, which is explained in the next sloka, which is Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Samstharpanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So, what are the three activities that Krishna does whenever he comes down as an avatar? Okay, when we say avatar, we need a slightly better understanding as devotees practicing Krishna consciousness. The word avatar simply means any person who is coming down. When the Supreme Lord comes down in any form, he is called as avatar. The higher understanding is that Krishna is the avatari, or the cause of all incarnations. So when he comes down as an avatar, higher understanding is avatari. What does he do? He does three things. Paritranaya sadhunam, which is protecting the devotees of the Lord. And then vinashaya cha dushkritam. He destroys the miscreants in the universe. That is activity number two. And then he does the third thing, which is dharma samstarpanarthaya, to re-establish the principles of religion. He comes down millennium after millennium. So these are the technical reasons why Krishna comes down. But what really Krishna comes down for? To give association to his devotees. He loves his devotees so much. So what happens when Krishna comes down to the earth planet is that everybody is hearing about Krishna, associating with Krishna, and chanting his holy name. And so hearing and chanting happens. And in a festival, what happens? Hearing and chanting in the association of devotees. Only when you hear and chant in the association of devotees, it leads to realization. People say that I can read Bhagavad Gita at home, I've got the book, so I'll read at home. Nothing happens. Years of reading, you may develop some scholarly knowledge, but nothing happens. There has to be a revolution in the heart when you read any of the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That is possible only with realization when you hear and chant in the association of devotees coming in the proper parampara. And then what is the additional benefit of a festival? There are so many new people coming, and we get a chance to preach to them. And then it also teaches one very, very important thing. For a nice program to be successful, or a festival to be successful, one of the most important ingredients is cooperation among devotees, right? Even that in Kali Yuga many times is a challenge. We all know it. Yeah. So during the time of a festival, there is a chance to bury all the absolutely insignificant differences and work together in a cooperative way and make the festival a big success. So in any festival, what happens is that the center of all activities becomes Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And whenever there is an assembly of devotees, what happens is Machchitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta, Parasparam, Kathayantascha, Mam Nityam, Tushyanticha, Ramanticha. So the Machita Madgata Prana, the mind is fully engaged and the lives of people are fully devoted to me. And then we start enlightening one another in the subject of Krishna consciousness, Tushyanticha, Ramanticha. And that is the only thing which can give us complete satisfaction and bliss. So it's very, very important part of our lives to actually uh, participate and engage yourself in a festival. And so the purpose of festival is turning it from a normal religious activity into a transcendental, blissful, spiritual activity. If we do that, what happens is mentioned in the very next verse of the 10th chapter. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tham yenamam upayanti te. Yeah. So this is the process of getting spiritual knowledge. It is not through the efforts of your karma yoga or through practice of yoga or through practice of dhyana. In all these three processes, what is the one fault? Can anybody tell me? Of course, these are authorized processes, and Krishna has mentioned this in Bhagavad Gita that you can adopt any of these processes, though he gives his final opinion in 6th chapter, 47th verse. So, what is the one fault?
Love is not.
Love is not there, okay. Surrender is not there. I like that. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, that's the point I was really wanting. So there is a me involved. Yeah, I will do karma activity to perfection, and I will attain the supreme personality of Godhead. I will do dhyana with my effort and my strengths. We sometimes forget that those strengths are coming from Krishna, Balam Balavatam Chaham. Yeah. And then we forget that aspect of love, as Prabhu mentioned, and we feel that we can, with our efforts, attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the real process of spiritual advancement is Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. All you got to do is Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. You just do bhajan and kirtan and then invoke the mercy of the Lord. And when the Lord's mercy is invoked, the Parampara's mercy is invoked, Srila Prabhupada's mercy is invoked, and Vaishnava's mercy is invoked, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I will give you the buddhi through which you can come to me. Okay, so in festival situation, the people in Vrajadam were very, very happy. They had the personal association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what about us? We don't have Krishna personally present here. What happens then? Yeah. So every time when there are doubts in our mind, we should actually take shelter of our scriptures. And the scriptures are very vast. And Srila Prabhupada has made it so beautiful for us. Prabhupada is an essentialist. He has given us the essential three scriptures for us to read and perfect ourselves in this very lifetime. There is no way we have the intelligence, especially in Kali Yuga, to read all the Vedas and perfect ourselves, right? So he has given us three important scriptures to read. So what is the three scriptures? Bhagavad Gita. What is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? The method of self-realization is through the process of bhakti. So he establishes right through the fabric of the Bhagavad Gita commentaries that bhakti is the only method to attain self-realization. So bhakti is established as the only process. Then he takes you on the journey of Srimad Bhagavatam. If bhakti is to be done, then you have to learn bhakti through great devotees of the Lord like Narada, Brahma, and so many other spiritual experts. And Srila Sukadev Goswami, who is the author of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, who was inspired by Srila Vyasadeva. So he is the Vyasadeva is the author, and Sukadev Goswami is the original speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from the lips of devotees, and we understand how bhakti has to be performed, because there are so many devotees and so many kathas in the Srimad Bhagavatam which explain how the devotees have performed bhakti. So we come to know in deeper fashion how bhakti has to be performed by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then bhakti has got a very, very important ingredient. And that is why Krishna gives the offering, different methods. He says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. This is my opinion. Why is that? People ask us the question, if bhakti is the only process, then Krishna could have said, just do bhakti. That's it. Why does he have to discuss karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and all these processes? Why can't he just say, just do bhakti? So that is because there are different folks for which you need different strokes. Different folks, different strokes. So there are people with different mentalities, and they want to do things in a different way. That is the material world all about. And also bhakti is a matter of heart. There has to be a heart-to-heart connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, since bhakti has to be taken by choice and not by force, Krishna comes down, has these festivals, and then inspires us to take the process of bhakti. So that is the real purpose of bhakti. And then we discussed why, if Krishna is not personally present, we were at the point where we have to take shelter of the scriptures again. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, what does it say? Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddho Nitya Mukti Mukto Binnatwan Nama Namino. So what does the Chaitanya Charitamrita say? Nama Chintamani Krishna. The names of the Lord are Chintamani, or desire fulfilling trees. Just by taking the names of the Lord, all your spiritual desires are fulfilled. We must have strong faith in the scriptures. It's not that we start chanting and next day morning say nothing has happened. No, we must have firm faith in what the words of the scriptures say. And firm faith not just at the theoretical level. In theory, we all accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we do have some doubts in the mind, Is it really true? I'm not able to see Krishna. What's there in a deity? Basically, if we are in the material world, we have two qualities which come intrinsically from birth to us. And that is the speculative mentality. And the second is the envious mentality. We have to accept that, Somebody on my 50th birthday said that years back, 8 years back. Now I'm 58. So people are even afraid to, shy to admit their age sometimes, So, when somebody said, happy birthday, I said, thank you very much. 50 years back, I confirmed that I was envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore I was born. So we are born with this envy. And because of that envy, what happens is that we are mental speculators. Mental speculation is a direct result of envy. So these are qualities which we have come to. So therefore, if we harness doubts in our mind, fortunately, we have some Sukriti, we are very respectful, we have theoretical faith in the Shastras, and therefore we submit ourselves to the scriptures, but the doubts keep lingering. So these festivals are a time when all these doubts are clear. So Krishna, in this verse, it says, Nama Chintamani Krishna. The holy names of the Lord, when we sing Hare Krishna or chant Hare Krishna, do it with feeling and emotion. That the names of the Lord are Chintamanis, or desire fulfilling stones. Yeah, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. That is, it is a reservoir of all pleasures and all the Leelas of the Lord. And what is the quality of the name? It is Purna Siddho, which is completely pure, no contamination with matter. Nitya Mukto, which is eternally liberated from the matter. Yeah, Binnatvam Nama Namino. There is no difference between the name and the holder of the name. So that Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Leela, Guna, Dhamma, they are all non-different from each other. In fact, I don't remember the Katha which Prabhu had given us about how the names of the Lord are stronger than the Lord himself. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not able to remember that. But then we will, I've heard another Katha where, Hanuman, there was a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. That Katha also was based on Lord Ramchandra. So the devotee of the Lord Ramchandra wanted to do a Thula bar for Lord Ram with gold, because he wanted to give gold which is weighing as much as Lord Ram. Lord Ram is an infinite person. And so any amount of gold which was being poured on the other side of the weighing scale, nothing was happening to Lord Ram. Yeah. And everybody was wondering what's going on here. And then finally, I think it was Hanuman who brings and says, well, you just do one thing, take out all the gold, and on the other side of the name, on the other side of the weighing scale, just write on Tulsi the word Ram and put it on the other side of the weighing scale. You know, the strength of the holy name was so much. Lord Ram almost jumped out of the other side of the weighing scale because it just came down. So that is the strength of the holy name. So what happens during festivals? We are chanting more. We don't have the main work that we have, which is eating, because we fast on that day. So we have more time for meditating on the names of the Lord, and we have more time to listen to Krishna Katha, and we have more time to actually chant the holy names of the Lord. So that is the greatness of any festival. And if you see the pastimes of Sri Krishna in the holy Dham of Vrindavan, in the morning, what's his daily schedule? It's very interesting, especially for the children. In the early morning, they all meet under the Krishna Balram tree, the cowherd boys, right? And then what do the cowherd boys do? They discuss on where to go on the picnic. There's no work, it's wonderful, no homework, nothing. So they just discuss where to go on that day and have fun with Krishna, right? So that is the cowherd boys of Vrindavan are having association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. So everybody else in Vrindavan, including the parents, miss Krishna when he's gone to have his grazing pastimes with the cows and cowherd boys of Vrindavan. And then he comes back. It is a normal routine that you should have a family lunch together. So he comes back and has his family lunch time with Devaki and Vasudev, and therefore Devaki and Vasudev, they have the association of Sri Krishna. Sorry, it's Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba. Okay, Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba have association. Then he goes back to the pasturing grounds to bring back the cows. When he brings back the cows from the rooftops, the whole of Vrindavan is waiting for taking darshan of the Lord, and Krishna comes down. That darshan of the Lord with all the the dust of Vrindavan on his face, that look of Sri Krishna is so beautiful. Everybody is eagerly waiting. So everybody is waiting for darshan of the Lord. And then he comes back home, and then he freshens up, and then there is a daily cultural festival in Vrindavan. Yeah, so again, the whole thing, all the residents of Vrindavan go for the cultural festival, and the favorite drama of Krishna is seeing himself as Narsingadev. He enjoys that drama. Again and again, the same drama is enacted, and Krishna is clapping his hands, glory of Narsingadev. And then again in the night, he goes for his pastimes with the gopis of Vrindavan. So this is his daily schedule, where every part of his daily activity, there is always a viraha tap for the others who are not participating in that activity. In a festival, it's a huge mercy of the Lord, where everybody associates with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they're all together serving the Lord. So that is the real purpose of festival. So request all the devotees on meditating on this wonderful festival of Janmashtami, which is the greatest festival for all the devotees, and participate in these festivals and get transcendental bliss. And it's a time to recharge your spiritual batteries and do whatever service that is asked by you to do in a spirit of complete cooperation. So, His Grace Achyuta Arjun Sakadas is really leading this team, and we have the support of so many other Vaishnavas here. So, cooperate with all of them and have a grand Janmashtami festival. So, Hare Krishna to all of you. And Prabhu said that if there are any question answers, I should take those questions. So we'll have a short time for question answers. I do not know how much time is there, but we'll still attempt to take some questions. Hare Krishna. Is that okay?
Any questions?
Yeah.
What did she say? Repeat it.
Yeah.
Normally, what happens is everybody is so warm and seva.
Yeah.
There is not very much of time for that.
Okay.
Yeah. The seva also purifies.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that sometimes in seva, that only work, not really consciously thinking about one. They're just going ahead and doing it.
Yeah.
So how do we change our consciousness? Also, the Lord is.
Okay. That's the Mataji's question is that during a festival like Janmashtami, you are involved in so much seva that there is hardly any time to listen to Katha. So Mataji says Katha is purifying, seva is also purifying, but how do we bring these two things together to have a perfect Janmashtami? Right, Mataji? So we will take Yashoda Maya's example for this. Yeah. Yashoda Maya, when she was doing seva for Krishna, whatever seva she does, she was doing it in a spirit of meditation. When she was churning out butter for Krishna, what she used to do? She would meditate on Krishna solely while doing her service, and that meditation has reached such a level of perfection where she would not quote slokas, but she would be quoting or rather composing poetry. Poetry can be composed only when your meditation is perfect, right? So, as she was doing her seva for Krishna, she was meditating on Sri Krishna and the various pastimes that Krishna was doing. Of course, Yashoda Maya is a great devotee. But then the seva that you do leads us to many realizations. I have a god brother of mine who used to do cooking seva. And so naturally, when the spiritual master comes, he is not able to actually even have a chance to meet him because he is continuously engaged in spiritual seva. But somehow I have seen that by accident or by providence, we should say, we should not use the word accident. Somehow or the other, we are going somewhere, and then he meets his disciple who is involved in cooking seva, and he gets some quality 10 minutes time associating with his spiritual master. What was he doing? Seva. Seva leads to Guru's mercy, leads to realization. Similarly, there is another devotee who is working for a jeweler in Dubai. So, jewelry shop starts at 10, closes the shop at 10 in the night, and then after 10 o'clock, he has to take the stock taking of all the gold on a daily basis. By the time he goes home, it is 11 o'clock. Again, doesn't have time to associate with his spiritual master. But somehow or the other, by act of providence, the spiritual master used to say, look, I want some gold to be purchased for Srimati Radharani. So let's go to Gokul Chandra's shop. So I just leave them alone. I stand outside the shop because it's their time together. So by constant meditation on Sri Krishna and Guru, he got the association of his spiritual master. So you need not worry that seva will not help you, hear Krishna Katha. Seva will lead you to realization and perfection in spiritual life. Does that answer your question, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Last.
Okay, so Mataji's question is, we have to learn Shastras in the association of devotees. What about self-study? Both are important. Self-study gives you the knowledge, and then when you discuss these topics in the association of devotees, it leads to realization. And realization is the key. We are not interested in being scholars and mental speculators. So therefore, whatever we have learned, do two things. Preach to others. When I say preaching, preaching is not preaching to 500 people or something like that. Whatever little you learn, tell it to your neighbor. That's preaching. Okay? So when you teach someone, teaching is the best tool for learning. When my spiritual master was living in my house once, I was reading some book which is supposed to be a preaching tool. So he asked me, Yugal, what are you reading? I said, this is a nice book written by so-and-so, and it's a very good preaching tool. He looked at me and he said, it's not a preaching tool, it's a learning tool. it changed my perspective completely, you know. Preaching is the best way of learning. And then discussing that, Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha, with the devotees, then it leads to deeper realization. Yeah. So both are important. Learn, preach, and associate with devotees leads to realization. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Some practical tips for having the mood of cooperation for the upcoming Janmashtami.
Yeah. So Mataji wants to know certain practical tips for cooperation among devotees for a festival like this. So what are the practical tips that we can think of is, first of all, transferring your self-interest to uh, the interest of the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, your spiritual masters, and Srila Prabhupada. So the consciousness change has to be there. That will bring in cooperation. And in spite of doing that, two people may do things with the service with the intent of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the way they think could be different. There can be difference of opinion. Yeah. At that time, you have to take shelter of other devotees who can counsel you. While taking this counseling, be careful in selecting the right type of devotees. What's that verse, Prabhu? Guhyam akhyati prachati. Yeah? Dadati pradigrinati guhyam akhyati prachati bhungte bojayate chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. So six lakshanas of bhakti are there. Dadati pratigrinati, give, take and accept and give. Tadati pratigrinati. Guhyam akhyati prachati. So that is, you share your secrets with someone. Secrets are shared with someone whom you trust. Okay. So therefore, discuss with them who are very sincere in giving you the right advice. Yeah. There are certain things in a family, for example, there's no doubt that you love your father most. But there are certain things which you would like to ask your father's elder brother or father's younger brother, right? You say, I can't discuss this with father. So you respect and revere a devotee, but at the same time, the difference of opinion remain. Select somebody else to counsel you, who is sincere in counseling. That will bring about a spirit of cooperation among devotees. Yeah. Like in Arabian ranches, one of the devotees was very frank. He said, Prabhu, we are very thankful that you have come because, when we see saffron, we get intimidated. It's funny. So, well, the saffron is needed, other devotees are needed. So, the perspective of a brahmachari could be slightly different. They're all super devotees. I really love from the bottom of my heart, the association that I've got from Kartikeya Prabhu, from His Grace Harikshetra Prabhu, and then Achyut Arjun Sakha Prabhu. I really love their association. But there could be areas where you cannot discuss with them certain things. And that's not because it's about them, it's about we. We are not advanced enough. So discuss with other seniors and take an appropriate decision, but at no cost should you stop cooperating with the devotees. Cooperation is the key for making this Janmashtami a huge success. So only the Matajis have asked questions.
That's because
Mataji sir. No, actually, Prabhu said that the Matajis are more intelligent in this congregation. That's why they are asking questions. Because actually speaking, you need to be intelligent even to ask questions, right? Thank God Arjuna asked those 5 questions to Sri Krishna. Thank God the sages who have assembled listening to Srila Sutta Goswami asked these 6 questions. Because of those 6 questions and subsequent 4 questions in the Srimad Bhagavatam, set of 15 questions, we got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. It is only through the process of questions that we progress in spiritual life. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te jnanam jnanina tattva darshinaha. When you meet a tattva darshi, who is not me, but since I am representing Srila Prabhupada, who is a tattva darshi, yeah, we must ask questions. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashna. Prashna is questions, and seva. Questions and service gives you the answers through the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. That's it. Thank you very much. I think our time is up. And thank you all once again for inviting me and gathering in such good numbers. Please practice Krishna consciousness. Beg all of you to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. The names of the Lord are so powerful when you are chanting. First is personally you benefit. The person who sees you chanting, he benefits. The entire city of Bangalore and beyond also benefit through the chanting of your holy name. So this is the best service that you can do society to the society by practicing this wonderful process of chanting and giving this process of chanting to others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. So thank you very much, His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu and Kishori Mataji. Actually, I have a very, very special corner in my heart for Prabhuji and Mataji. Back in 2018, when for the first time, without any experience, without any association, we were trying to do Janmashtami. At that time, somehow in the Kickstart event, Prabhuji and Mataji landed. And then there was another meeting which was held at their place where many, many devotees gathered. And we all planned how to make that Janmashtami successful. And very nicely, Prabhuji Mataji hosted us, encouraged us. They even gave us the first donation to start the Janmashtami. So, and somehow in 2019, again, when we were doing the Kickstart event in one of the communities, Prabhuji and Mataji were again there. And 2 years Janmashtami didn't happen. It was online. Now again, when we are trying to do something, somehow again they are here. So they are like my good luck charm. Whenever we try to do something, Prabhuji and Mataji are there. I'm very, very grateful to them from the core of my heart. It's only because of the blessings of senior devotees who have realizations can we actually make any advancement in our path to please Guru and Krishna. So thank you, Mataji, for that wonderful, soul-fulfilling Kirtan. You helped us understand the value of Kirtan. You helped us understand why Krishna says, wherever my devotees sing my holy name, I'm residing in that place. Prabhuji, you shared some very nice points from the class, and I would like to share some points for my own purification and revision. You said that Krishna is like an eternal festival. He converts all the mundane affairs into a festival. Wherever there is no Grama Katha happening and only Krishna Katha happening, that is where Krishna resides. When we all get together to hear and chant in the association of devotees, that leads to realization. In festival, we meet many new people, so that gives us a chance to preach to new people. So that's why festivals are very important. And above all, in festivals, we have to put aside our own false ego and self-opinionated nature and actually cooperate with the vision of the Acharya. And that is what Krishna likes, and that's the meaning of Sankirtan. So, festival basically, in the words of Prabhu, is converting a religious ritual into a transcendental spiritual activity. And he was mentioning that by nature we are envious of Krishna. That's why we are in the material world. And this enviousness leads to mental speculation. In the environment of mental speculation, it's very difficult to actually love Krishna and celebrate with Krishna. So just to inspire us to give up that mental speculation and enviousness, Krishna personally descends and converts everything into a festival so that we understand what it means to be with Krishna. And then Prabhuji mentioned very nice point about that viraha tap. Whenever Krishna is there, nobody gets 100% association of Krishna. So Krishna is busy with so many devotees. In the morning time, he's with the Gopas. In the night, he's with the Gopis. In the afternoon, he's with the parents. In the evening, he's with the cows, whatever. So nobody gets 100% association. So Krishna, just to fulfill the viraha tap of devotees, he organizes a festival. So the goal of our life is to be in that festival environment of Krishna. And he very nicely mentioned Seva leads to mercy and realizations. And all this is achievable only in an environment of cooperation. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for highlighting these points.
Why did I speak for so long? It was 5 minutes.
So thank you very much for sharing these points. We relish these points. We cherish these points. Whenever we get such nice realized association, we feel very fortunate. The purpose of opening this center is to have devotees like you coming here regularly and encouraging us to have more and more festivals full of cooperation and Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan. So thank you very much. Let's all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that Prabhuji and Mataji keep coming keep coming back again and again, and they somehow they think about us, miss us, and try to catch up with us every now and then. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Thank you very much to all the devotees who have assembled here. Every Sunday we will have such sessions. We do not promise a guest speaker every Sunday, but every Sunday we will have some sessions. We'll try our best to invite senior devotees. Until Janmashtami, we'll try to set up our consciousness to welcome Krishna in our lives. There will be many Janmashtami planning meetings also, about which we will inform. Now we will just have the concluding Aarti for the Lord, and we'll all take part in that Aarti. We'll sing and dance, and then after that we'll move for Prasada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.